So we are now in the Baldwinsville Canal Square. It's what I consider kind of the hub of Bevo. I like it, so I thought it was a great place to kind of wrap up our interview with Steve. And Steve, can you tell us the things that we didn't touch on yet that have happened in the last 8 years?
Sure. Certainly this facility here is awfully nice, and you might say a parking lot is a facility, but it's more than that. It's meant to be a green space that provides opportunities for various activities. It was designed and built prior to my coming. Tim Baker, my predecessor, worked on the development of this, but we've since done a lot to it. The patio that you see behind, we built that a couple years ago. The landscaping that's here in the green space is relatively new. And it has since been the location of a couple different very nice activities. The Oktoberfest was held here on a couple years. It was a pretty good location for that. There was a car show here that came a number of years, and I think that was very successful and very well attended. The farmer's market was here. Ideal spot for a farmer day like today. To have a farmer's market here was just ideal. Unfortunately, again, just like we talked about our Paper Mill Island, all of our activities are curtailed for now, but I expect those to all come back, and this to be a venue for those types of activities in the future. And having this more of a green space, it's truly not a park, but adjacent to parking, and then directly adjacent to our business district, really provides a very nice, like you said, if it's not the hub of the village, I could see it becoming the hub over time, and it's a very nice location. A couple things that are associated with it here is that it's only literally a 60-second walk over to our River Street parking lot, which we just rebuilt last year. We made that a much finer facility to provide parking and access to some of our business over off of River Street, and that's very nice just around the corner here. And then this is the start of the Yevich Trail. Sergei Yevich was an architect in the village of Baldwinsville, and he was a very big contributor to the village, the Reformation during those Dan O'Hara years. Sergei passed away a number of years ago, so this trail was given his name as he was the designer. But the Yevich Trail is right here behind me, and it leads down to Locke Street. And Locke Street has seen a great transformation since I've been here. We had a nice project to go in and rebuild Locke Street. So we widened the road, we put a parking lane in. It incorporates some features for the county's Save the Rain program in order to preserve stormwater and to have better drainage. It's granite curbs, concrete sidewalks, and that improvement, which was a Joe Saracena era, that improvement results, so that public investment in the roadway and the direct infrastructure, because some new utilities were put in as well, resulted in many of the private property owners then redeveloping their property on Locke Street and upgrading some of theirs, which was very nice. And then the village, people may or may not know, but the village owned much of the waterfront side of Locke Street, because that's where the old highway garage was located and some other parcels. Through a very, very planned effort, they acquired the other adjacent properties, and then through a preferred developer's advertisement and review, they identified a developer to go in and develop Locke Street in a manner in which they wanted. And you're seeing that today. So it's been a long time in coming, but if you go down Locke Street today, you'll see that we have a new apartment complex there that has recently gone up and is now advertising for occupancy. It's a very nice feature of the village. They extended the Yevich Trail through their property as part of their development, and it now connects down into Locke Street, which is very nice. So providing opportunity for those who live on Woods, Margaret, Tabor streets to have access, walkable access on dedicated pedestrian ways up into the village center. Very nice feature for that neighborhood. And then what's planned for the rest of that development on Locke Street are some townhouses, some apartment homes, and then some private, a few, I think 10 private homes down on the far east end. So Locke Street has transformed from what was a neighborhood that had almost an industrial look to it with the old highway garage there, to now a very nice neighborhood. And I think in the future, you're going to see it only just improve. So that's a project that started with private investment and then or public investment in the roadway, and has resulted in an awful lot of very nice private investment. I do want to take a look at the list that you mentioned that I sent to you, just so that I try to get an understanding or refresh my memory of all the things that we have done. But sidewalks down Meigs Road, that was one of our early projects. A tragic story is that an individual was hit by a vehicle and killed there a number of years ago, and that prompted the administration at the time to say, do we need a sidewalk on this road? And we finally found the funding for it, and we built a sidewalk there. You can rarely drive up Meigs Road and not find someone utilizing that sidewalk anymore. So, very nice feature in the village, and again, brings people who might be on some of the outer edges of our village into the village center. We just completed a nice community development project that improves pedestrian crosswalks on Downer and Tappan Street. Very simple project, actually very, very low cost, and just improves, particularly at nighttime, because we have some solar-powered lights that provide a little bit of illumination at the crosswalk. That's a nice project that we just got completed. Community development has been very generous to the village of Baldwinsville through the years. Marty Skane is the director there, and the village is indebted to his support for community development projects in the village. I know the mayor would like to thank him and I certainly do thank him and his staff for what they've done in supporting our projects and the initiatives that we've tried to do here in the village. Some of the other things that we've done in the village is the trails that we now walk on. At one point were all stone dust. A couple years ago, we found the funding to pave them. It makes for a much nicer trail. While the stone dust was intended to be ADA compliant, to provide an opportunity to those who might have some walking disabilities, certainly the pavement is so much easier for anyone who has difficulty, and strollers are much more accommodated on the paved walkways, and for those who want to bike, and even joggers, I think will find it nicer. So our paved trails are very nice, and that's recent. We've made a lot of improvements in our water plants. So these are things that the public doesn't see and necessarily doesn't have any sense of appreciation for, because you don't know what's happening in a water plant. But to be very honest with you, they're critical parts of the infrastructure of the village, and investment in them is very important. I'll tell you when you really appreciate it is the day you go to the faucet and water doesn't come out. When you reliably have very good water in the village, you take it for granted, and you should. That's our job, is to make sure that the faucet continues to run. In that light, I'd like to just recognize Chuck McAuliffe is a key person in the village. Chuck runs our entire DPW, but he's very dedicated to our water because that's where his background is. He is our certified B certification water plant operator, takes the job very seriously and does just a terrific job. And then up at the engineering office, we have a part-time clerk who does full-time and overtime work, to be honest. While she works 20 hours a week, you would think that you got someone who's working 60 there. But Louise Corrigan is a long-time employee. She's 20 years working for the village in that position as DPW clerk, and great asset to me in the 8 years that I've been here. So many of these projects just wouldn't take off. And then in addition to projects, we do an awful lot of regulatory requirements, meeting those requirements, stormwater permitting, stormwater reporting. We have an annual water report. We have a water recovery report. We have to fill in applications for our state funding for highway money every year. You can be assured that Louise is behind every one of those and just keeps us, going year after year.
Right. I know when I said to the mayor that you were certainly going to be missed, and he agreed with that. He did say you have strong support within your department.
Absolutely. In addition to those people, the staff that we have in both water and sewer and in the highway department, they're dedicated people, come to work every day and fulfill a job that truly, if they weren't there doing it in short order, you'd start to recognize things not being as nice in your community. Yeah, they're all very good employees.
Well, and if anybody watched the interview that was done with Brian May, he definitely commended you and the department and how things are run. So,
that's great.
Like I said, I know you helped me with the Main Street grant project, writing it up, presenting it in a way that Baldwinsville had a much better shot of getting the money. So, I appreciate it. So
yeah, we write a lot of grant applications each year. and we're successful on a portion of them. But that's a manner in which to get funding opportunities for the village to complete many of the projects that we've done. A large part of what I've talked about was not funded necessarily by direct Village of Baldwinsville tax dollars. A lot of it was sought by state funding or other community development is a good source. Yeah. The Main Street program that I know you're building is a part of, that's going to be a nice asset to the village. There is going to be an improvement along Genesee Street, what I call the Genesee Street corridor. And we hope to see some improvements here next year take place as part of that project. So they're very nice.
Great. So, well, thanks for taking the time to talk with me today,
Well, thank
Steve.
you for having me.
And you will be missed in the village. I'm sure we'll see you around. But is there anything else that, I mean, you did so much over the course of when you were here. Anything that you say, oh shoot, I wish I would have mentioned this?
Well, not that I can think of, but I would certainly like to thank Mayor Clark right now, Mayor Saraceni. I worked in his administration as well, and the entire board members that I worked with, the Public Works Committee, which is Mark Wilder, Megan, and Bruce Stebbins, and the support they've given to initiatives that I've wanted to put forth, and they've had faith in what I've wanted to do and thought that it was good for the village and supported me. So I'd like to just express my appreciation to them.
Nice, thank you. So, well, good luck with your future.
Well, thank you.
And I'm sure we'll see you.
Oh,
see you
yeah.
around the area.
Oh, yeah.
Bye, Steve.
Okay, thank you. Bye.